Welcome to the You Need More Money podcast. I'm your host, Matt Monero, where I come to you every week from my studio in Dallas, Texas. I want to talk to you today about base salary versus commission because I have a problem going on in my office right now. In a good economy, finding good employees is very hard. Even the lousy employees are gainfully employed right now. And so it's very difficult for me or you to find quality employees to come on in and work for our organization. So if we're in this growth mode, if we think that we're getting ready to go to the next level, we want the business to go to the next level, we need people to do it, man. You can't do it yourself. At some point, you got to hire people. And we're looking to hire people left and right. I'm looking to hire salespeople. We just got done hiring some new operations people. I'm looking to find salespeople. So we've had so much difficulty. We use Indeed, we use Craigslist, we use Monster, we use all those job posting platforms, and we're struggling to get good quality applications. So I said, the heck with it. Let's just go to the marketplace and let's steal players. Who's got a big book of business of equipment financing customers? Who do they work for? And let's go steal their ass and bring them into our environment, our company culture, our compensation plan. And those men or women will probably make 2 or 3 times as much money working for us for the same amount of volume that they're doing for somebody else. We had trouble. Seems like high producing equipment finance people are not going to Craigslist or Indeed or Monster. So we hired a recruiter. For the first time in 22 years in business, we hired a recruiter. You guys know my opinion on when we hire people. You must hire the best possible people you can find. And that means it's going to cost you a few bucks. So we went ahead and we found the best possible equipment finance recruiting firm, and we retained them. And they have been sending us resumes of people who are looking to make a move, looking to make more money. And guess what we come up against? Compensation discussion. And you know what we find? These guys all want bigger base salaries than we're willing to pay. Now, let me just go through this again so you're clear on what I just said. I went to the marketplace and hired the best possible recruiting firm that specializes in my industry, the equipment financing industry. And I said to them, find me people that have a book of business that they're working for someone else who want to make more money. So why would they want to make more money? All the different reasons, right? They know they're behind. They feel like they're producing a lot, but they're not getting paid for it. Maybe their compensation is capped out. We have no cap to compensation in this office. And so they want to get paid. Great. I want to pay you. By the way, a couple things. I pay every Friday in here with a direct deposit. Every Friday. We pay our payroll company twice what I need to pay them because most people will pay on the 1st and the 15th. I pay every single Friday. One other thing, when you do that, you pay 2 extra rounds of payroll on that. So I pay 2 extra payments to my third-party payroll processing company to process our payroll every Friday. So these guys that are coming in, we're fighting over comp. And they're like, well, let me tell you what our comp is, by the way. I pay $50,000 base salary to bring in a salesperson. I will pay $50,000. Some of our guys come in 100% commission, although I typically don't like to hire 100% commission sales guys in the beginning. I love to turn a guy to 100% commission a little bit down the road. And then some guys that really come to us with very little experience at all, we pay them $26,000 a year plus commission with a 90-day probationary period. So just if you're trying to learn from this, as I hope you are, those are some different compensation programs that we pay. We rarely hire someone on 100% commission because my personal opinion is if you hire someone on 100% commission, they're usually, they're one of 2 things. They are a top dog, which I'll get into in a minute, or they're rode hard and put away wet and they can't get hired anybody else. So they're like, well, I'll just take 100% commission. Well, that's not the kind of person I'm really looking to hire either. So we will start a guy with no experience at all. We'll start him at $26,000 plus commission. And with somebody with more experience, we will pay them $50,000 base salary plus commission. Now, my guys make a lot of money. My top guys make a lot of money. I'll give you a perfect example. The number one guy that I know in the equipment financing industry is a $100 million a year producer himself. He produces $100 million worth of business solo. And last year he made $800 grand. in personal income. So that's the highest paid guy I know in my industry, okay, from a sales production standpoint. If he brought that $100 million business to my company, although it's not a perfect fit, he does something a little different than we do in the space. But nevertheless, just for argument's sake, if he brought his $100 million to us, he would make $3 million. $3 million. Okay? $3 million. If he's making 800, he'd make $3 million. Okay? Just something to think about. That's the kind of comp plan that we offer. It's egregious. It's ridiculous. The people that I talk to, my billionaire friend and my other guy who runs a $3 billion hedge fund and the industry expert that's on our advisory board, all think I'm nuts with the compensation plan. But in 22 years in business, I have never changed compensation once, ever. I have never changed the compensation plan. And one other thing, in 22 years in business, I have never missed a payroll to my employees. I have missed a lot of payrolls to myself in the early days, but I have never missed a payroll. In other words, if you work for me, your check is gold. And I take it a step further and I say, I'm going to pay you guys every Friday. I don't care about your commissions. I don't need it for cash flow. I don't need it to operate my business. You sold the business, you should get paid. So I pay every Friday. I don't need the carry of the payroll. You guys, some of you guys listening to this got that problem with that carry of payroll. You're using somebody else's money to cover your bills and you're keeping your fingers crossed that you'll make payroll. 22 years in business, I've never changed compensation and I have never missed a payroll to an employee. So here's the deal. Base salaries are for amateurs. Period. If you're entertaining a sales position and you're interested in what the base salary is, you're an amateur. Period. End of story. There is no doubt in my mind you are an amateur. You are absolutely looking at it the wrong way. The top salespeople are commission-based salespeople, period. They understand that they are their insurance product. They are their insurance policy. They take care of themselves, and they want as much of the upside as possible because the employer should pay more to someone who is on commission than they should for someone who's on base salary. And so it doesn't matter whether you're in sales or you may even be the CEO of a publicly traded company. You're on commission too. The top dogs are all on commission. And in that publicly traded company example, you know what that commission is? Stock options. You don't get your options unless you produce and you perform. And the company becomes more profitable based on your leadership. Stock options are commissions. Every top earner operates on commissions. I'll go a step further. Let's take it in the PGA, the golfing industry, right? Caddies work on commission. When does the upside kick in? When the guy they caddy for wins the tournament. The money is connected to performance, not to base salary that covers your bills, and the employer is supposed to guess whether or not it's going to pay off. That's amateur thinking, man. You got to change your think to make more money. And so we're struggling when I tell these guys that are coming in, supposedly these top dogs that'll have books of business, none of them have shit. They don't have squat. They got some dealer in Louisiana who they think they could get business from. I'm like, dude, you need to have 50 dealers in freaking Louisiana if you want to actually move the needle here. You come in here, it's supposed to be some top dog brought to me by a recruiter. You're fighting me over a $50,000 base salary and you tell me you got one shitty dealer in Louisiana. Give me a break, man. The applicants that we want are people who have a book of business. If you don't have a book of business, there is no reason that you should consider yourself a top dog in any industry. You must have a client base that can move with you in order for you to earn the most money. It is unreasonable, in my opinion, for me to be asked to roll a $100,000 gamble on a question mark. I'll lose 50 grand on your ass, but I'm not losing 100 on your ass because you suck. So the answer to base salary versus commission is always the top dogs go for the commission. Now, here's important thing for you to understand. You have to make sure that the compensation plan is legit if you move to a commission-based comp. You have to make sure that you're getting paid, that the comp is real. So the first thing you have to do when you're interviewing for a company and they're talking to you about base salary versus commission is show me the payroll report that you ran for last week or last month. I have the payroll report. When I'm done with this podcast, I have an interview with a gentleman, and I have the payroll report for October prepared, highlighted. I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to say, here's what our guys make in this office. Now, where do you fit? Well, I'd like to have a $100,000 base salary, and I'm looking for $150,000 a year total comp. I'm like, dude, you're not my guy. I want a guy who will take 50 grand because he wants to make 350 grand. I'm a guy who says, I'll take your $26,000 a year because it's meaningless to me. Because I either produce with the customers that I have, or my grit, or my intention, or my focus, or my efforts, or my skill set, and I'm going to blow it out of the water. If you're focused on the base salary, you're thinking like an amateur. So this is a very quick rant, a very quick podcast to help you change your mindset. Top dogs bet on themselves, and they understand that commission is the result of the performance. If you're still thinking that your base salary is what you should focus on and how you should determine whether you should move to another company, you're thinking like an amateur. I'm your host, Matt Manero, on this quick episode of You Need More Money podcast. I will see you down the road.